CSW Heavyweight Champion. New champion, retained titles, retained title, and retained title. Tradition is on top of the world, and it all started at four corners of hell. Tell him, Marcus.
See, the thing is, the ball starts rolling, then it gets bigger, then it gets bigger, and it's an avalanche of tradition. Tradition that's always been the way that it always is. Tradition is the only way to go. Hardcore, no. High flying, no. What else there is? Hybrid style, definitely no. Just saying, this starts a new mark for CSW. Now that tradition holds all the gold, from now on, it's just traditional rules. No more over the top rope, no weapons allowed, no closed fist. You must out-wrestle the champions if you want to hold this gold right here. Tell them, Bracken.
Exactly as my comrades here have said, tradition is now on top of not just culture shock wrestling, but we are on top of the wrestling world in general. Soon, we will be household names across every home in the U.S. because everyone will be watching.
Canada.
Obviously.
North America and Mexico, Puerto Rico and Japan. We're number one is tradition.
Anyone who has access to YouTube will know who we are. And that is true traditional wrestling.
Matter of fact, you know what? We're so traditional, we should be on closed circuit television. None of that pay-per-view stuff. Pay-per-view, what is that? Closed circuit, we're tradition.
You should listen to us on radio, FM and AM.
Just come to the show. We're not even going to be on TV. Just come watch it, because we draw the money here.
Like every month. I scream, you scream, we all scream for tradition. Ah!
Folks, welcome to another CSW episode of Viral, a special episode this week, the 50th episode of Viral. Folks, I'm Damian Hendricks here with Mike Roycroft.
Yes, indeed, Damian, and we are kicking things off with a bang here, going straight to the ring. Buddha Bashid, you see, making his way out for his match. And he looks pretty fired up, Damian.
He does. He's making a lot of noise. No doubt a fan favorite here. Look at him. He is pumped up and ready to go.
I wonder just how pumped up he's going to be when his big opponent comes walking through that curtain. He's got a task in front of him.
Weighing 248 pounds. Give a big welcome to Buddha Bashid.
Buddha Bashid. Fired up.
A lot of fighting spirit in this guy, Damian, but he's going to need every bit of it against his opponent, representing the fist. We've seen this guy before. He's a killing machine. Otherworldly size here in the literal Mr. Big.
Mr. Big.
With 2 G's. That's how big he is. Buddha Bashid is going to need every bit of his heart and fighting spirit to overcome this mountain. And I don't think that's a metaphor. This guy is a mountain.
This is like how big he is, just stepping over the top rope. How intimidating.
You can see the look of concern on Bashida's face. But he's fought big, rough and tough men before and certainly asserted himself well. Let's see how he does. against Cali Kid's henchman, Mr. Big. Speaking of Cali Kid, Damien, that leads us into our big event this Saturday, June 28th, Summer Showdown. Cali Kid's got a big match ahead of him, doesn't he?
That's right, he sure does. Coming up against Lacura, who, for some reason, seems that he's putting up his #1 contendership on the line for the CSW title that he won at the Four Corners of Hell match. I'm not sure how this happened. Cali Kid somehow weaseled his way into this one. Who's he been talking to?
Well, from what I understand, it was a management decision. As you may remember, at Four Corners of Hell, Lacura did get the victory, being a surprise entrant in a match against Chris Ty, who later that night went on to capture the CSW title. So, of course, by virtue of his victory over the current champion, that places him as the #1 contender. Somehow Cali Kid got in the ear of somebody. He's always had some weird influence back there. Oh, look at that side slam. Devastating.
Mr. Big, I think he broke his hip.
But Cali Kid, nonetheless, asking for and receiving a match with Lacura with that #1 contendership for the CSW Heavyweight Championship at stake. And Lacura, being a man of fight and pride, he didn't hesitate for a second. He accepted the match, and I'm sure he's ready to go.
That's right, without a doubt, because as you know, Mike, these guys have had some grueling matchups in the past. Like we saw when they used to go for the Formula 1 title, they had a big feud. These guys had a lumberjack strap match. It was amazing.
That's right, and their very first match was a contender for Match of the Year at our year-end voting last time around. And, I try to remain impartial here, but I'll go on record as saying those matches between Cali Kid and Lacura, those are a couple of my favorites that I've ever seen here in my time with Culture Shock Wrestling. And I'm sure regardless of how he weaseled his way, as it was put, into this match, I'm sure it's going to be a great matchup because you're talking about two guys who can really go in that ring.
That's right, without a doubt it's going to be a great match, but like you said, I don't know, is Cali Kid going to get what he wants in the outcome here as he's managed to get a #1 contendership up for grabs?
Well, you got to figure Lacura's got the momentum on his side. Speaking of being up for the fight here, I got to wonder how much fight is left in Buddha Bashid. He's really been getting manhandled here by Mr. Big. Manages to avoid that splash in the corner, but nonetheless, not looking too good here. Mr. Big pushing him out of the ring, going after him.
It's been Mr. Big this whole time. I don't think Bushido has mounted any offense this whole match.
Did he just hit him with a water bottle? Boy, I guess desperation's setting in here. It's going to take more than that to knock the big man down. But Damien, you're correct. Mr. Big has certainly dominated Buddha Bushido. And oh, look at that shot right into the building post. Mr. Big just all over Buddha Bashida, Damien.
If it wasn't over before, it certainly is now. Look at him. Buddha's out.
Yep. He looks out cold. Might have to call for the stretcher at this point. Might have to call for two of them.
Get him a body bag.
Buddha Bashida, all the fight in the world, but I think it's just a little too much to contend with the likes of Mr. Big from the fist. Cali Kid's #1 henchman here. I mean, we've seen this guy go toe-to-toe with monsters like Lane Smart and Mr. Hardcore John Riker. So he's certainly giving Buddha Bashida all he can take and then some. Vicious kick to the back there once again. Just beating the man down. Not a whole lot of finesse here, but very effective.
That's right. There's no reason to question why Cali Kid keeps this guy around in a fist. I mean, look at him. Look at his size. Just look how he's tearing apart Buddha tonight.
There's that big slam. I think this is it. 2, 3.
That's it.
Wow. Your winner from the fist, Mr. Big. Let's take another look at that, Damien.
Huge swinging side slam. We're going to call this the big slam.
That's all you can call it, coming from Mr. Big. And oh my goodness, what's this? He's back in the ring and giving him another one.
He's not finished.
Putting an exclamation point at the end of the sentence here is Mr. Big. Again, everybody trying to make a statement here in Culture Shock Wrestling. They know the cameras are on with Viral, and he is looking to put Buddha Bashid away for more than just a 3 count.
Shooting him off the ropes again. What do we got here? One more big
God.
slam.
And just think about the strength it takes to pick up Buddha Bashid like that. Just sling him like a sack of potatoes. That's how big Mr. Big is. Oh boy, and look who's coming out to gloat, I'm sure. The man we were speaking of, the man who's going to face Lakura this Saturday. Summer Showdown, June 28th at the Mossy Head Community Center. Cali Kid coming in to pick the spoils here of Mr. Big's victory.
Oh, look at him gloat.
Look at him flexing his skeleton there.
And the fans are letting him know what they think about him.
They're certainly not shy to voice their opinion about one Cali Kid. But as long as he's got the likes of Mr. Big standing next to him, it's going to be hard to stop this man from doing anything he wants to do. And you gotta wonder how much Lakura's got to have eyes in the back of his head. Not only facing the very talented Cali Kid, but Mr. Big and everybody else in the Fist. We certainly know they are not shy about involving themselves in each other's matches.
That's right. What has Lakura got himself into here? I don't know, but he's going to have to fight to keep that #1 contendership. But like we said, it's going to be one hell of a match, and I can't wait to see it.
Culture Shock Wrestling fans, hardcore hellions everywhere, lend me your ears. For the first time in viral history, we are able to offer you the official CSW t-shirt. Made by Harbor Screen Printing, these high-quality t-shirts sport the chic, trendy, upscale stylings of the Culture Shock Wrestling imprint. Available in all sizes, these shirts will only be on sale for a limited time at a price of $15 or $18 for plus sizes. For more information, please visit us at facebook.com/cultureshockwrestling or visit our concession stand at the next live event for your t-shirt. You do not want to miss out on your chance to style and profile in a piece of CSW history.
And folks, once again, welcome to the 50th anniversary of Viral. I'm Damian Hendricks along with my good friend Mike Roycroft. Match we just saw there, what do you think?
That was something else. I mean, what a way to kick off our 50th episode. Started off with a bang. Watch Mr. Big just maul poor Buddha Bashid. But that really poses the question, how is Lakura going to contend, no pun intended, with his contendership on the line against Cali Kid coming up this Saturday?
That's right, what we're talking about this Saturday is the Summer Showdown. It's going to be big, and speaking of that match, not just with Cali Kid, we've also got a huge main event coming up. It's going to be Chris Ty and Justin Overstreet taking on John Riker and Zane Smart.
That's right, as you saw at the top of the program in that interview with Tradition, they are holding all the gold. This main event has a lot at stake. Justin Overstreet holding the AIWF World's title, and of course, as we saw in our last episode, Chris Ty slipping in there and basically stealing the CSW title from an already beaten down John Riker. Well, this match has those title contenderships at stake as well. If Lane Smart and John Riker are able to get the victory, they will each get a shot. John Riker at the CSW Heavyweight Champion Chris Ty, and Lane Smart against World's Champ Justin Overstreet.
That's right. We're looking forward to this match. These guys, what bigger stakes could be on the line than getting title shots for the most coveted prizes here around the Gulf Coast?
You know, fevers and competitive spirits are going to be at an all-time high in that match. Really looking forward to it. That's this Saturday, Summer Showdown, Mossy Head Community Center. Make sure you are there. Get your ticket. Get your seat early. Strap yourself in and get ready for a ride. Right now, we're going to go back to the ring. We've got another match. Zane Stevens taking on David Prime.
That's right. Part 2. Let's go to the ring.
All right, Damian, we are back at ringside and looking forward to what is now, I guess, the second in a series as it's shaping up between the veteran stalwart of CSW, fan favorite David Prime, and his nemesis as of late, Zane Stevens.
That's right. This is Prime versus Zane 2. Rematch from a couple weeks ago. Last time we saw this one, Prime won the match with a roll-up. So we'll see if Zane's going to fire back here, and maybe we'll have a rubber match.
Well, that remains to be seen. What also remains to be seen is how much time Zane Stevens will actually spend in the ring this time. Fans, you may remember, he spent a great deal of time kind of running away from David Prime. And, you know, Zane Stevens, obviously an athletic specimen. I don't think it was out of fear. I think it was a bit of a mind game, but it backfired on him. Like you said, David Prime picking up the victory. I'm wondering if we're going to see a little more of an aggressive Zane Stevens this time around, as we see him making his way to ringside. You see that bandaged arm there. That is the result of some damage he suffered in the first match with David Prime. Prime working over, really wrenching in on a wrist lock or arm lock or some sort. I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but my understanding is David Prime inflicting that damage on Zane Stevens, perhaps giving him a little more motivation to pick up the win this time.
Yeah, that's right. If he doesn't want the other arm in the cast, he better come in here with a different strategy. He's going to have to take the fight to Prime here. Don't run around the ring. Don't lollygag.
No question about it. A stern test here for Zane Stevens. David Prime always up for anything in that ring. And you see he's pointing with a little suspicion. And unfortunately in wrestling there's a long history of people using these casts and bandages for nefarious means, maybe slipping a little something extra in there to club a guy over the head with it. Surprised the referee wasn't in there taking a little tighter look at that. But there's only so much you can do, really.
That's right. What exactly happened to the arm there? Did it just get wrenched? I mean, what happened here? Is there a reason? Are there X-rays, or is he just playing possum and finding a way to get a weapon in the ring?
Well, it's just the gossip I've heard. Obviously, I don't have access to his medical records, but that's the word I was hearing coming out of some of my sources in the locker room, shall we say. And you see David Prime going right after that arm, working into a hammerlock here. Zane Stevens obviously feeling the effects of that. Nice elbow trying to get out of there, but Prime holding on. And we see a reversal by Zane Stevens, Damian.
Right, and regardless of the actual status of the hand, with that cast there's obviously a large target right there on the arm.
And you see a nice drop toe hold. Looks like he landed right on the point of the elbow there, jarring that arm. Again, it's hard to tell, you know, this could be a diversionary tactic, could be a little playing possum here. Zane trying to lure David Prime into a false sense of confidence, thinking he's got an injured opponent. Maybe that's why word has leaked out like it has. And really there's nothing wrong at all. You just never know. There's always mind games at work here in this game of human chess that we call professional wrestling. And Zane Stevens certainly not above trying to get inside an opponent's head, as we talked about before. And there you see him, the big arm drag again. David Prime focusing like a laser beam. If it isn't a legitimate injury, it may become one by the end of this match, Damian.
That's right. Look, now he's taking time outside the ring to nurse that arm. Obviously, it's got to be hurting him a little bit here, but he's taking a lot of time pandering to the fans here. That might be a mistake that backfires on him, just like it did in the last match. He needs to keep his mind focused in the ring on Prime.
Once again, kind of making his home outside the ropes here is Zane Stevens. But that arm is injured and Prime is inflicting that punishment. It's a bit more understandable this time around. Zane's going to need to get out there and regroup to kind of make up for this handicap he's got here with a bum arm. And you see Prime going right back to it.
He's twisting him with the wrist lock. Look at it go. Oh my goodness.
And you know David Prime, with his experience, has become a master at using those pressure points. Oh, wow. I think Zane just barely escaped a major injury right there.
Lucky for him.
David Prime knows every way to work around all those bones in the wrist and in the arm and inflict further damage.
Oh, he just stomped on the wrist. Zane left it sitting up there on the apron of the ring, wide open.
I noticed David Prime is kind of keeping his cool a little more as far as Zane's antics of running outside the ring. He kind of knows what to expect this time a little more. He's just taking his time waiting for Zane Stevens to get back in there as opposed to chasing after him, possibly making a mistake, leaving an opening for Zane Stevens to take advantage. He knows he's in the driver's seat right now, especially after working over that arm like that.
All right, and speaking of being in the driver's seat, we got to let it be known, Mike, that these two guys are both in the running for the Viral title.
That's right, CSW management looking at the first match between these two, obviously setting up a rematch with something in mind here, seeing what these two guys have in terms of working in the ring against one another. They figure whoever's going to come out on top of this has got to be in line for Chris Bracken's CSW Viral title, the Internet Championship, if you will. And look at David Prime going to work once again on that arm. Now trying to slip into a crossface. Zane Stevens wisely getting his feet to the ropes, and once again bails to the outside.
That's right, and with the thought looming over them, with the idea of going for the Viral title, both of these guys' heads, you got to imagine maybe that's why Prime seems just a little bit more focused here tonight.
Indeed. As we know, Viral Internet title means you are guaranteed a slot here on CSW Viral, defending that title at every show. It is basically the championship of our show here, CSW Viral. So it's, no pun intended, a prime slot to be in, and who better to qualify for it than David Prime? Zane Stevens really looks like he's struggling with that arm there. You gotta wonder if he would just be setting himself up for more trouble, getting a title shot at this point, not being at 100% physically like that.
The referee's got the count going, up to 3 now.
Maybe over, and you see David Prime applauding. Yeah, good riddance to you. I'll take the 10 count. I'll move on to a title shot. But again, Zane Stevens playing those mind games there. Oh, losing his balance there, clutching that arm. It would appear Zane Stevens just not 100% coming into this. But you never know what's going on behind the curtain of the mind of Zane Stevens, that twisted imagination. He could just be luring David Prime in for something here, Damien.
That's right, and you can't forget trying to keep that referee behind his back there, it looks like. Maybe he's thinking about using that cast here.
It's always a possibility.
That arm does look like it's causing a lot of pain here for Zane.
Putting it very close to the vest, if you will, is Zane Stevens, but David Prime continuing to move in for the kill when he gets the opportunity. Nice snapmare. Oh, he was about to give that big chop to the back, that signature chop of David Prime. Zane Stevens obviously had that scouted out. And once again, finding a home outside the ring. Perhaps he ought to pitch a 10 out there, Damien.
That's right. The outside of the ring is becoming far too familiar for Zane here. Spent more time outside the ring than he has inside the ring.
Definitely setting up camp out there, Zane Stevens. David Prime, though, just taking his time, waiting for him. He knows he's one up on him. He's got the advantage, so it's Zane Stevens' match to lose here.
That's right, and why waste the energy chasing after Zane? Just sit in the ring and wait for him. Take a 10 count if it need be.
And it's like Prime perhaps playing a little mind games with Stevens, bailing outside himself, sort of mocking him, I think. Practically begging him to lock back up here. David Prime is ready to go.
Calling him a chicken. Here we go.
Zane Stevens not taking too kindly to that. Little funky chicken there from David Prime.
I mean, what do you expect when you spend half the match running outside the ring?
True that. We'll see how... Oh, now mocking the arm injury. David Prime kind of challenging the manhood of Zane Stevens here. Hey, let's lock up. Are you ready to wrestle or not? Zane Stevens answers in the affirmative here. And he's going to pay for it with another big snapmare. Zane Stevens just can't seem to catch a break. Oh, man. I'm not sure that was smart.
Huge slap to the face. My goodness.
Of course, making David Prime lose his cool could end up being the opening he's looking for. Wow, look at that vicious left hand from the southpaw David Prime. Just clocked him right in the face.
Sending Zane Stevens right to the outside again. My goodness.
Now he's awakened an angry bear there. Poked him with a stick a bit as Zane Stevens. Probably not the result he wanted. David Prime once again in the familiar position of standing in the ring waiting for Zane Stevens to get back into it. And I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to this Saturday, Damien. I mean, Summer Showdown is just going to be off the hook.
That's right, I can't wait. Oh, goodness gracious. CSW is just getting better every month, isn't it, Mike?
I think so. I mean, the level of talent we have coming in each and every month, and the level of talent we've already accumulated that just keeps getting better time after time. And we see rivalries like this building between the likes of David Prime and Zane Stevens. Fans, it's really something you got to come out and experience live. Make the drive out to Mossy Head. It's really easy to find. The community center right there on the main road in Mossy Head, Florida. Come out and see all your favorite superstars and some of your not so favorites, whether it's Lacura, whether it's the Story of the Year Brian Cage, whether it's Fist, Tradition, John Riker, Lane Smart. They're all going to be there this Saturday, and you just can't miss out. It's going to be something else. As we see Zane Stevens now working over the back of David Prime. Prime's been known to have some neck and back issues in the past, and now Zane Stevens perhaps taking advantage of some old injuries himself here.
That's right. This is looking a little unfamiliar here for this match. Zane Stevens actually in the ring, in control. Oh, I may have spoke too soon. Oh, and a scratch to the eyes.
Rake to the face and a big forearm to the back of the head at the same time. Stevens reaching into the pits of his viciousness here, trying to get one up on David Prime. He certainly has not been in the driver's seat thus far in the match. Big stomp there to the midsection.
And Zane going right after the eyes in front of the referee.
Is he going to try that back chop?
Oh,
no, back
goodness.
kick there. Thought it looked like he was kind of mocking David Prime there, going to use his own back chop against him, but he decided to give him a big stiff kick in the back instead. And he gets a 2 count out of it. Suddenly Zane Stevens, like you said, in the unfamiliar territory of being in control here with David Prime, and that may have been what he's been setting up. Well, I'm sure it's what he's been setting up for all along.
That's right, man. If he would have went for the cover just a second earlier, I bet he would have got the 3 right there off that kick to the back. How vicious.
David Prime, though, has certainly seen his fair share of battles and wars over the years in that ring. It's going to take a lot to put him away. Stevens effectively working over that back area. And without the back being able to function, obviously, it's going to be hard to carry on a wrestling match. It's one thing to protect an arm, but when your back's out, it's just difficult to move overall, Damien.
That's right, we can see the anguish there that Prime's going through. He's really hurting on the back. But he is not out of it. Still fighting. But a huge knee to the face.
Continuing to cut the momentum off there is Zane Stevens. And continuing to favor that arm, too.
Oh, and a reversal. Looks like you got the arm torqued on a little bit there, but delivered a nice back elbow.
Goes for a pinning combination to Zane Stevens. And yeah, you look at him there, he's trying to hold himself up with his good arm, and the more he has to compensate for that bad arm. He's going to end up hurting his good one, too. Big chop there. Showing some life here, Zane Stevens. Obviously at a disadvantage here. That left arm bandaged up.
Huge back elbow. Prime is down. Go for the cover there, Zane.
I think he hit him square on the jaw. He might have turned the lights out on David Prime, but not quite. Maybe working on instinct here is David Prime. Once again, going to the back.
That's right. The back looked like Zane Stevens found a weakness here on Prime, and he's going for it.
Big forearm shot now into the corner. We'll whip him again. Once again, working on that back. David Prime throwing a little loopy here for the moment. Zane Stevens has him right where he wants him. I'm a little surprised he's not kind of moving in, being more aggressive here. Still a bit tentative as Zane Stevens.
You gotta wonder how much pain that arm's feeling right now. Maybe he's just taking this breather because he has to.
There he is, jawing with the fans there.
Here we go, Zane Stevens coming back for the fight. Gonna shoot him into the corner.
Oh, nice back elbow by David Prime. What's he setting him up for? Big kick. I think Prime's similarly trying to find his win back. And once again, shooting him into the corner, working that back over. Looked like Prime is going to try to wrench that arm again, but Zane Stevens working it to his advantage.
That's right, the back is giving a lot of trouble here to Prime. Just those shots to the turnbuckle are enough to put him down.
Indeed, cumulatively speaking, it's like several little car accidents in a row. And speaking of car accidents, look at that clothesline.
Goodness gracious, almost taking his head off.
Zane landing on his arm a bit wrong, though. May have taken just as much out of him. But he has got Prime down.
I don't know how wise this is, rolling out the ring after a clothesline like that. He should have went for the pin.
I'd have to agree with you there, Damien. Again, tentative is almost becoming the ring name of Zane Stevens here. You think he'd really want to be on the attack at this point. At a rare moment when he's got a guy the pedigree of David Prime down and out here and ready for the picking. Now just slapping him around.
Alright, wasting all that time outside of the ring to come and slap around. Does he remember what happened last time he slapped Prime?
Oh, here we
Puts him
go.
down. Rolls him up. 1, 2. Oh, there it is. The 3 count. David Prime. Once again.
Let's take a look at that in the replay there, Damien.
Zane, of course, wasting time outside of the ring, getting in here and slapping Prime around a little bit in the head.
Then Stevens going for the clothesline. David Prime ducks under, rolls him up. Once again, the veteran instinct of David Prime working his advantage. But oh, look at this. An attack after the bell.
Oh,
And
there it is, that cast. I knew it was coming. Right to the face.
probably would have served him better before losing the match, but nonetheless, Zane Stevens getting some form of retribution, I guess. And look at the disrespect here. This is just uncalled for. David Prime won that fair and square with a classic wrestling move.
Oh, and again to the face with that cast.
Clearly using it as a weapon here. David Prime goes 2-0 over Zane Stevens, but somehow I suspect this is not the last we've heard of these two after this. Just poor sportsmanship by Zane Stevens. Your winner. Damian Hendricks, there you have it once again with the victory. David Prime getting 2 in a row over Zane Stevens. As we were alluding to earlier, you know that's got to bump him up a little higher on the list in contendership for Chris Bracken's Viral Internet title, but not before he has a bigger contendership match this Saturday at Summer Showdown.
That's right, we're going to see Bracken taking on Slade. Slade, who is considered the real #1 contender for the Viral Championship. It's going to be a big obstacle in the way of Bracken somehow got out of this match that was supposed to happen last week. I don't know how he got out of it, but there's no running this time at Summer Showdown.
Well, we saw that interview last time on Viral with Chris Bracken, basically coming out and saying he had Slade taken out. So you got to figure Slade not only has the title on his mind, he's got vengeance on his mind, so it's going to be something else.
That's right, and speaking of titles, we can't forget about the Tag Team Championship coming up at Summer Showdown. Cage and the Suicidal Soldier going against Tradition.
That's right. I do believe Brian Cage and Suicidal Soldier are still soliciting tag team names from the fans. If you want to hashtag that to them on Facebook. Nonetheless, the big surprise partner revealed, and now they are a cohesive unit. Brian Cage and Suicidal Soldier, they get their shot at Tradition and the CSW Tag Team titles without the fist in the way this time.
That's right, it's all coming at you folks. Summer Showdown, the 28th, Saturday. Be there, see these matches, Tag Team Championship on the line, Viral Championship on the line, the big main event where we're going to have the opportunity for John Riker and Smart to win contendership slots for the AIWF Championship and the CSW Championship. It's a big show coming up, folks.
Not to mention what has been a classic match in the past, and I'm sure will be again, Cali Kid versus Lucha Lacura. That's this Saturday. You don't want to miss it, fans.
That's right. Be there or be square.
Well, folks, for my friend Damian Hendricks, I'm Mike Roycroft. We thank you once again for watching Viral. We will see you at Summer Showdown this Saturday, and we will see you next time on Viral.